up?
My name is Susan Rose, and I want to welcome you to It's All About Artists. And today, we welcome artist Matthew Bernson, a multi-talented artist. Welcome to the show,
Hi,
Matthew.
thank you for having me. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Where do you reside?
I live in Dalton right now, so yeah, I moved to the area 4 years ago after growing up and being around the North Shore near Boston for most of my life. So.
Oh, I forgot something. And I do this all the time. And before we start, I usually do, I want to thank Matthew Tucker, Joanne Hurlbert, and Nicole Brown for making this show possible. Sorry for that. I forgot. But I want to get that in. How long have you been drawing?
I mean, I've been drawing for as long as I can remember, so. Yeah, it's, I don't remember a time when I wasn't drawing, so.
And how long have you been painting?
Well, I started actually painting probably more around high school, and so I was lucky to have some teachers who encouraged me to paint from observation, but then also gave me enough wiggle room to do my own interpretations and not try to pin me in the box or like a style or there's only one way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that approach. What inspired you to become an artist?
I guess it was essentially having that itch to want to draw or need to draw and need to having maybe safe space or something in my sketchbooks, and then it was, I guess, became such a habit or was something that I couldn't, I guess, imagine being without or.
Without a paintbrush in your hand?
Right, yeah,
right,
and so, yeah, and I had, I guess,
One
some.
attached.
Yeah, a lot of encouragement growing up to be like, oh, Matt, you're talented. You should, keep going with it. And so it's yeah, it's an itch that doesn't go away. So got to keep scratching it.
I know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture in your mind before you start, or does it evolve as you go along?
I'd say both, and it depends on the piece. Like the large self-portrait that I have is something that before I had the the reference or anything like that, I had a sort of a vision for what I wanted for that one, and then I actually took some reference photos to work from, and then I took liberties as I went along. Yeah, but yeah, usually it's I'll start with whatever reference that I have of whatever model or models, and that'll be something that I start with, and then I just kind of react to it usually.
Mm-hmm. Do you use thinking? It's like some people say, well, I think when I'm drawing, and then sometimes some people say, well, it comes from my emotions onto the paper or the canvas. Do you ever have that kind of a feeling at all, or is it a thinking? Or just a doing and not thinking at all?
Yeah, well, I guess it's it kind of alternates between the two. I think sort of there might be some thinking when I'm trying to figure out the composition and the drawing and things like that, and then once I have certain things kind of established, and it's more trying to figure out the color and the the brush marks and things like that, then that's when it shifts more into a kind of like feeling, kind of like, react to it methodology.
What changes do you face in your artistic process? What challenges?
Challenges, I mean, I guess a lot of it is just finding time and, trying to figure out, how do I, make a living out of it. And then, yeah, I mean, I guess it's like trying to figure out how can I both kind of like zero in on what kind of niche I want, or but then also try to not, I guess, do the same thing that I've already done, and try to figure out, okay, what can I do that's maybe different, or how do I make my work better, and try to figure out, like step by step, like create habits to try to keep my work evolving.
Do you have a picture, a painting here in mind that you'd like to tell us about? There's some. Could you start telling us some about some of it, the names and what you like? This one here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, this one, the title is Pizza Dog, because I mean it's the guy who wanted me to paint his wife. The dog was in the picture, and I said to him, like, oh, it looks like the dog is thinking, like, oh, hey, you're on the phone, you're like calling up for some pizza. Do I get some pizza too? and so yeah, let's hence the like little like it's like speech bubble, thought bubbles, because she's like maybe I mean it looked like to me that like she was like, it's like, hi, I'd like a large Villa special, so. Yeah, and then the dog just hears the magic word. It was, wait, did you say food? All right, do I get some? So I try to yeah exactly so try to kind of go in and like have there be like a little bit of like a narrative to it, and have it be kind of fun and something different maybe. So that was like a fun kind of like adventure to do something a little bit different, and then
Do you
so
name
that
all your pieces, or
yeah, generally it's like I mean that'll be usually long after I've like already completed it, and then I'm like, oh, what's the title? Let me figure something out. Yeah, and so.
do you let the other people title it?
Well, I mean, generally, I've kind of like tried to go with like titling things can be hard, because if you overthink it, then it ends up being something pretentious most of the time. Mm-hmm. And so the first, like gut reaction of like blah blah blah, what your immediate kind of reaction to it usually is like, okay, let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the fairy garden, I took 3 references of the same model that it seemed like there was kind of like a, I don't know, fairy vibe. And for that show, I wanted to also kind of try to figure out how I could sort of like transform the models I was working with into sort of like mythological creatures. And so this was in the Glow show last. Actually, this month. So.
I like the wings. I didn't notice them until right now. When you said fairy, and then all of a sudden I said, oh my gosh, there's the wings.
Yeah, and so I was trying to take liberties with that,
lovely.
and that was done with fluorescent paints, so it will glow under. There were black lights in the gallery, so that was really fun to see. And then. So for these 2, I did those in a art residency in New York City. So these are the only 2 oil paintings that I have in today. and worked from a different,
different model.
model for like a couple days, and so it was the residency was a week long, so we had less than a week to make 2 paintings, and so it was like spending, I don't know if it was like 8 hours or something like that in the studio with a live model, to be like, okay, we're gonna exhibit these at the end of the week, so get them done. So.
So you had a time.
Yeah, and for me
Did
it
that
was.
make you nervous or?
No.
No.
I mean, I have ADD, and so for me,
too.
it actually helped, flip the switch of okay, the sense of urgency is here, so you got, it's crunch time, get it done, and so it flips the switch to be like, okay, I need to make it happen, and so. It was interesting hearing feedback from the other artists in the residency to be like, "Oh, Matt, you're so fast," and I was like, "Really? I feel like most of the time I'm slow, but I guess it's more just like trying to find, like, struggling to find the time to actually make the work." And but once I get in the zone, apparently it's. I mean, I'm used to doing a lot of life drawing, and then I also work as a caricature artist sometimes, and so.
You do caricatures.
Yeah, and so
I can see those.
working, learning to like draw fast, see fast, and like get the stuff on the canvas is,
Matt,
yeah.
Can you tell us about this?
Oh yeah, that was fun. So
Show us.
to be on the cover of Artful Mind magazine back in October, and they did an interview with me. So there's actually a picture of me from the residency. So that's back when I had shorter hair. So yeah, it's there's I almost brought that one, and then like some of my caricature work, and then this was something that I had done like ink and watercolor on paper, and then this is actually a digital work that I did, and I mean a lot of these are figure drawings because that's kind of like what I focus on, and
That's wonderful.
yeah, and this was actually something that I did that was just entirely in graphite, and that was like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and graphite.
Yeah, and
That's different.
I grabbed
And
a,
more.
there was a, Faber-Castell came out with a 14B pencil, which is like previously the darkest kind of, like the softest kind of lead that you could get would be like a 12B, and so they came out with one within their like matte line of graphite pencils that wouldn't be as reflective. Most of the time graphite ends up being kind of shiny and hard to photograph, and so they came out with a kind of graphite that's has more of a matte look to it, and so it's supposed to be easier to photograph. So instead of getting a bunch of shinies, you get the darks, and so this interesting seeing the profile there, and this was the eagle that's there is a drawing that I did that I actually had someone tattoo on my ribs too. Yeah, so that was fun. Yeah.
Okay, let me put it back.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask you, are you anxious or relaxed during your process?
I guess sometimes it can be like a little bit of anxiety, but that's probably more around the if I have a deadline coming up and I'm like, well, I have I got to make 20 paintings this month, so let's figure it out. Then it's like, all right, just canvas over here, canvas over there, just
You
over
make
there,
your
over
own,
there.
it looks like. You
Yeah.
make your own?
What's up?
Do you make your own canvases?
In the past, I have stretched some of my own, but it's definitely like it's a process, and it's like tedious and a pain, and so I've actually found I'd kind of rather not have to do it because of like the hassle it is, because it's, well, I mean, when I stretch my own canvas, I want to get it like very tight, and that's tough on the hands.
You know, I
So.
used to know somebody that painted white paint on sheets and just put it on and made a canvas out of that. And
Yeah, I mean, whatever works. So.
it worked. I mean,
Yeah.
it was interesting. What else do we have here? Right here, this is lovely.
Oh yeah, the Medusa one. That one was another one that was in the Glow show this month, and so I had the model that I was drawing from. I asked her like, oh, what's your favorite like mythological character, or like or it seems like she has like a Medusa shirt. It's actually like the reference was like a photo that I had of my girlfriend Jane, and so yeah, she likes Medusa, and so I was like, all right, so then I'm gonna go in a Medusa direction, and so I try to get like a good kind of like silhouette for the hair in like contrasting colors, and yeah, it's like another painting that's got like a fluorescent paint, so it'll glow under black light. So yeah, so yeah, so like I mean the color looks bright even when without it being under black light, but it's like actually glowing when it's under black light, so that gets real fun.
Oh, I like this one here. This one here with the wings.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think yeah, that was a similar kind of situation where I kind of like got a sort of maybe vampire vibe from the model, and try to figure out, okay, how do I arrange the space, or like the composition to have it not just be like a bunch of, I guess, like empty space, or how do I
Yeah.
transform
I see.
the reference that I have into something that's like when I make it into a painting, then it's like, okay, this needed to have been painted to be made, and not just be like a handmade like copy of a photo.
Of a photo.
Yeah.
How do you handle creative blocks?
I mean, I guess when it's like that, it's probably like, okay, time for a nap. Yeah, take a bath and have some chocolate, and then
Chocolate.
yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, just melt the creative block away, and then there's one of the things that I think about Chuck Close saying that like you don't if you're like a really like a serious artist, you don't just like wait for like inspiration to get delivered to your door like on a silver platter. You gotta like you like show up and you make the work, and so it's like a lot of it's just kind of building habits to be like okay, I have this chunk of time, and I'm gonna find figure out something to work with, and then just pick up pen and find whatever references or inspiration that you want to work from, and just keep things going.
So, what advice would you give an up-and-coming artist?
I would say don't worry about having to get an art degree, because I mean, most of the time people, I wouldn't say, use their college degree unless you're going to be like a lawyer or a doctor or like a teacher. If you want to be an art teacher, then you would need to get your master's. But aside from that, and the only thing that people care about with your art is your portfolio. No one cares about your art degree. If my paintings were, not interesting to look at, and then didn't have like any skill or creativity behind them, then it wouldn't matter if I, said like, oh yeah, I graduated mass art in 2011, then, studied animation and painting. They'd be like, okay, well, then, why isn't your your work better? It's all about the portfolio. So it's, and it's not worth putting yourself into debt. Just so that you can have a piece of paper that says something. It's better just to take a few years and just do lots of figure drawing as much as you can do. I'd say that's one of the things that helped me improve with my drawing and with my art in the last year that I was in college, because I treated it like it was a part-time job. So anytime I wasn't in one of my classes, I would find as many different figure drawing groups like in the around the Boston area as I could, and try to do live drawing, because drawing from the figure is one of the hardest or least forgiving things that you can draw, because people can look at a drawing of a human figure and tell intuitively, like, oh, that arm is like out of proportion. If you're like, if you're off by like a millimeter and a half. You know what I mean? But if you're drawing a tree, doing landscapes, you can add limbs, cut limbs off, and no one says, oh, looks like a tree. Send it. You know what I mean? So it's, but you don't have that same liberty with humans.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Really,
you have
I
a lot
could never
more,
do that.
liberties that you can take with landscapes and other things, and so there's that, and then it's also with live drawing from a live model. It's not like, okay, you have you can spend all week, all month on whatever from this photo. If it's a person in front of you who's okay, you got 2 minutes, draw them. That's all you have, and then it's done. On to the next one.
Yeah,
so if you
that's
don't get it, then it's like, just be faster next time. Yeah.
I used to do drawings. I know what you're talking about. You only have so many minutes in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would feel sometimes tense.
Yeah. The deadline is the secret weapon.
Yeah. What are your influences?
Well, I guess one of, I like all kinds of figurative art, but I suppose comic books and different kind of pop culture type of stuff. I grew up on a lot of cartoons and video games and fantasy and science fiction stuff. So there's a lot of that, and then, but also being exposed to certain artists when I got to high school and started, I guess, seeing other types of ways that some artists handle line and color. One of my favorite artists is Edgar Degas, and I especially his late nudes and pastel are my favorite works of his. And his vision was going, but he was still kind of looking and seeing, and so they're a lot fuzzier than some of his earlier, tighter, more academic work. But the thing with that is, because it was done in pastel, they would have a lot more brighter colors, and you would have a limited palette where with versus if it was a painting, then he could make any color and have it be all natural skin tones and things like that. But you'd have to be okay, well, I don't have the whatever beige or something like that. So to get the shadow, I'd use green or blue, and not they'll just be peachy tones.
Where's your self-portrait?
Oh, that one over there, yeah. I guess depending on who you ask, any work an artist does is a self-portrait, right? So.
I love it.
Thank you.
When I was at that show, I was at the show at the Future Labs.
Yeah.
That was the first one I saw, and I said, "Oh my God, I love that."
Yeah,
And
that's
then he said that was your self-portrait.
yeah.
It's beautiful. I love it. I love vampires. You
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
I love vampires.
Yeah, that was interesting for me to feel like that one of the pieces that I put in for the erotica show had like no nudity in it because it's all context, and I've done a lot of self portraits, but yeah, that's definitely my favorite one by far. So.
Do you listen to music while you paint? And
Ye-
if you do, what kind?
Um, so yeah, I do listen to music most of the time, and I guess it's a pretty eclectic mix. I mean, sometimes it's like funky town radio. It could be like oldies and something that might be upbeat, or maybe some rock or all different kinds of music. Yeah.
How do you price your work?
I mean, that's something that I've struggled with in the past, as far as like, okay, do I need to do like multiply the square footage, or is it something where you're just like like whatever feels right, or how do you decide what what price tag to put on it? Because I mean, with art, it's the same painting that is like done on whatever piece of cardboard or something like that. Could be like like, oh no, I wouldn't even pay you like $5 for that. But then you go around the corner and you try and sell it to someone and be like, oh, 5 million.
Yeah,
And because
exactly.
it's I mean, the Edward Monk's painting, The Scream, I think is like on a piece of cardboard, and it's like one of the most like frequently
famous,
like stolen
yeah.
paintings, and it's like something that would go for like millions, so yeah, it's strange to think about.
Is there like a piece of work that you love so much, and if somebody came and said, I want to buy it, how do you feel about that? Would you sell it, or would you keep it? They're very favorite. Some people sell it, some people don't.
Yeah, I guess it's can be hard to
Let go of that.
yeah, to part with it, because then once it's gone, then it's gone essentially. And so yeah, I think probably one of the ones that fits that for me is maybe the dragon lady painting that I
Yeah,
did,
what
that
are
I have.
these?
Yeah, I had that painting made into stickers, and I actually also tattooed that on my thigh too. You can have it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And what is this?
Oh yeah. That was my postcard for my two-person show last year, and then the other one is the postcard for my two-person show this year. So.
And this one here.
No.
We have about a minute left.
Oh.
I told you it went by fast,
Yeah.
didn't
Well, right.
I told you.
Right. Yeah.
We could have had an hour,
Right.
you
Yeah.
and I.
Yeah.
We could go by all the paintings here.
Yeah.
But there they are right in front
Yeah.
with the wings and that one there. And, well, oh,
Yeah.
yes, I love that
Yeah,
one.
that
Don't
was
you love
another one that was in the Glow show this month. So.
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, I feel like I was able to get the colors pretty saturated in that one.
Now that's a real big one.
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I had to
Guess
take that one
we
off
have
my
to say goodbye.
my living room wall. But yeah, it's interesting, I guess, trying to figure out.
Well, I'm afraid we're all
yeah.
out of time.
Uh-oh.
So.
Well,
it
thank
was
you for
nice.
having me.
Oh, I enjoy you.